Hi, I feel a bit like weird and awkward doing this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I've just decided to kind of set up this new YouTube channel off the back of a video that I posted on my other YouTube channel, like I think just before Christmas. I was basically just talking about how I set up my small like sewing business and how it was going so far. And it just got like just an overwhelming response from people who I think could just really relate. I just enjoyed doing it, to be honest. I didn't really think anyone was gonna watch it. But anyway, they did, and people were really, like relating to it and also feeling inspired by it. And I've realised actually how many people there are starting small businesses, especially kind of to do with like arts and crafts and making stuff and kind of trying to sell that, because I think we're a bit different. But yeah, how many people there are like me starting these things who are, I'm talking about myself here, but like terrible at technology. Like did not get social media at all, just didn't understand it. Like kind of, being told all the time, oh, you got to put your face to your business, and thinking, no, that's just not going to happen. Like nobody wants to hear and see this. I mean, to be honest, it's like normal people. I think we're pretty normal, do you know what I mean? But you kind of think, oh, these other people who are like well-spoken and presentable and seem professional, like they do well, and we just kind of all fumble along. And so kind of like judging by all the comments that I received from that video, I feel like it could be really motivating to hear my experiences from someone who was like a complete beginner, like more of a beginner than anyone's ever been, I think. I mean, I knew nothing. A very shy, awkward person. Like, I know you probably think, oh, well, whatever, you're just like talking to the camera, you can't be that. But like, I had problems talking to even my own family members on the phone before, because I thought, like, my voice was just so illegible. Anyway, whatever. But I have said, since I started doing well, I've always said to anyone really who would listen, like, if I can do it, anyone can. And I really, really believe that. Basically this year I feel like I've learnt the most I've ever learnt about everything and anything in my life. Because I very much had to be like, oh my, I don't know anything. I'm going to have to try and learn everything. And I've learnt so much, and I'd love to share that with you. I feel like I might have quite a heavy focus on social media, just because that was the route that I eventually chose to go down after trying like everything, putting my hands in all the pies. It was actually just before doing a market stall, and I'd done the maths, you've got to pay for your stall, and I'd kind of done the maths of that and thinking about the kind of time I was going to be there and adding all that up and thinking, I don't know, I just don't think this is going to work for me at all financially. Like, I'm going to do this internet thing, is what I decided pretty much at that point. And because up until this point, I'd always had this thing of people saying, no, social media doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And I thought, well, it works for some people, because I can see it does. So yeah, I did this market. It was at this point I thought, I'm going to put all my eggs into the social media basket. And to give you some idea of how that went, this was like this was the September before the last one, so I guess 2023. And as I was doing the market and talking to other people, I had about 600-ish followers. My account was just very boring. Standard. Well, just I didn't know what it was for, really. So yeah, about 600 followers in September, decided to put all my eggs into that basket. By the end of that year, I'd got up to 4,000, so it had taken me a year to get those first 600, and then just maybe 3 months or something to get up to 4,000. And I remember doing a Christmas market then in December, because I'd already paid and booked for it in the summer. I was hearing all the usual kind of excuses that I feel like everyone makes at these markets. So it was packed. So obviously it was too busy this time. It's either too busy, too quiet, too sunny, too rainy. That's kind of like what I always heard. But whilst I was hearing all of this, I was just like, oh, I felt like you've got to get on the internet. I was trying to say to people, like, get on the internet. Like, I think it's going to work. It's working, and I think it's going to work for me. And when I was like saying bye to everyone, I was like, this is, I'm not going to be doing any more markets. And it was all very pitying, like, oh, she's given up, she's the final straw. I was thinking, I've given up. Like, I'm just getting started. I was really feeling excited by that. So yeah, ended that year on about 4,000. Coincidentally, actually, when I did that market, that night I posted a post which actually was the first one to go viral. So I was really feeling like, ooh. And so yeah, ended that year on 4,000. So that was like last December. And then I've just ended this year on 30,000, which is crazy for someone like me. I mean, I know I keep emphasising that I knew nothing, but really and truly, I remember trying to take the first video of myself. I'd gotten into, over the things of kind of not wanting to do it with all my heart. And I literally thought I'd broken my phone because the whole thing just went grey. And I was like, what? How have I broken my phone? I literally just pressed record. And then I moved back. It just turned out that I turned my whole head into a big animated shark. And I just thought, oh, this is going to be a long old slog. This is going to be a long old slog. But I slogged away, and it really paid off. From the audience that I built on social media, I was then able last year to quit my job, like do all of the things that you kind of dream of doing when you start this business. And you're so pumped up at the beginning, I felt, and then at some point you kind of realise like, oh, it's not moving. This doesn't seem to be moving very fast. Like for a good year, I was having tumbleweeds. And the thing is, it's like you're working really, really hard. It's just not really, you just don't know what you're doing, I guess. I was definitely in that position. So I'm going to talk about everything that I've learned through social media, give all my own experiences and everything. Also, although I'd say I owe my success down to social media, I would probably owe all of that and everything else down to like audiobooks and stuff that I've listened to. I downloaded Audible, best decision. Listened to one book, I think, on small business. I think it was called Big Ideas for Small Business or something like that. And then I was hooked, and I was like, oh my God, you can listen to an audiobook on everything. So loads of recommendations for books. Yeah, but also really I just wanted to bring people together who are all doing the same thing, because what I loved about the post that I posted about my business was that people were saying their experiences and their worries and stuff, and other people were commenting on theirs and really boistering them up and supporting each other. That's what I was like, that's the reason why I thought, oh, do you know what, I'd like to talk about this more, and I'd like to see something like that happening. Because I think sometimes, especially if you're a bit older and you think, oh, this whole internet thing is for like young people who know what they're doing with their phones and stuff, you can feel a bit, and like you type in how to do well on social media, like I'm sure we've all been there, and it comes up with get 1 million views tomorrow and go viral and all of this, and I just don't think I mean, I can't relate to that. I don't know about you, but I just feel like that's not helpful. I'd rather hear real other people's experiences, and that's like more motivating, I feel. So that's kind of why I wanted to start talking about everything. Also, I quite enjoyed it because I know I'm like rambling on now. I don't know if you're like me, like, you know, when you've started something and you just feel a bit silly talking about it to, say, your friends and family, because it just looks like something cutesy that you're doing, like, oh, and just, you know, making some bits and bobs and just put them on Etsy or whatever. But you're planning for it to be your job. You're planning to, you know, big things for it. And you can't talk about that seriously because you just think you're going to look like some absolutely delusional person. Like, I don't know if you can relate to that. I don't know, that's how I felt, especially at the beginning. It's changing a little bit now, but only because other people are starting to ask me about it, because they're seeing they're seeing what I'm doing. So then there's like, oh, okay. But before, for at least like 2 years, I felt like I was doing loads, working really, really hard. And people just thought I didn't have a job. They just thought I was unemployed, genuinely. So it'd be nice if we can have somewhere where we can come and talk about our experiences and what we're up to and stuff, you know, without feeling silly. But also, like, another thing that I feel like I've come across a lot, like the first market stall I did, I was kind of chatting to the woman next to me saying, I want to start this becoming my job so I can quit my job and do this instead. And she just said no. that doesn't happen. And I was like, okay. Again, I was thinking, it happens for some people because I can see it, but okay. Sometimes I feel like there's a lot of people saying that, and that's just not helpful either. So what I wanted to do was just have a really, really positive, motivating, relatable, little chatty place. So I'd love to have you join along if that sounds like something you might enjoy watching, being part of. And if you'd have any topics that you'd like us to talk about, or questions or anything like that, then let me know, and hopefully we can just kind of create a bit of a community. That would be nice. Or it might just be me talking to one or two people. Again, that's absolutely fine, because now I've had a taste for talking about it, I'm like, I like that. Do you know what I mean? You just can't talk about this with your friends and family. That's how I feel anyway. Anyway, I've rambled for enough time. Happy New Year, and hopefully see you again